All right, so a 3D printer, they're pretty common now. A lot of schools have them. A lot of kids have seen them. But I like to explain how the 3D printer works. It's an extremely complicated process. A 3D printer takes weed eater string and a hot glue gun, and it poops out plastic parts. That's as highly scientific as it gets, right? It's a very cool machine. But the idea behind this machine is design, right? We want you to draw and make your own parts. I can go to the internet and download like 700 million different objects that I can 3D print. In our 3D printing lab, that's not allowed. You cannot print anything that you haven't designed or manipulated. That's one of our rules for this lab. So with this lab, our software that we use is called Tinkercad. Again, it's another very simplified application. If you want to use Autodesk Fusion 360, that is another really cool way to design your parts. But you can download something, import it into Tinkercad, manipulate it, put your name on it, change the size of it, erase the Nebraska N and put a KU on there. Whatever you want to do to be able to create your own products. And the 3D printing machine is a really neat way to do that. So it's not really weed eater string, but it looks like it. There's lots of different types of plastic that we can use. This happens to be ABS. This is the type of plastic. There's PLA, there's NinjaFlex, there's wood, there's metal, there's 1,000 different types of materials that you can use. You take the material, you run it through this machine here. I'm going to pop it loose, pull it out, show it to you. So this is where all the magic happens. This is where it feeds the plastic in, and then it melts it. If it's hot enough to melt plastic, what do you think it'll do to your finger? Yeah, don't touch it, please. There are processes that we can use to clean it and those type of things, but it will burn if you touch it. This machine we like because it is a super reliable machine. If I can get the STL file onto the software, it prints. The only concern that we have with this machine, whether it prints or not, is how high the bed is set. If we have the bed set at the perfect height, it prints every time. And that's the cool part about this machine. There are better machines that are more complicated to operate. And we decided that the ease of operation is the best way to go. So this is one of those that is extremely popular. So what we do with this one is we let people understand that the cooler your project is, the higher up the printing ladder you go. So if I download a Nebraska Husker N and put my name on it, yeah, I manipulated it. I met the criteria. If I build a triangular shaped pen holder for my cousin that has cerebral palsy and can't hang on to his pen, guess which one we're printing first? We're printing the triangular shaped pen holder for my cousin that has cerebral palsy. 7th grader. Use that machine right there. His cousin was able to write for a long time, but it just got so bad that he couldn't hold onto the pen anymore. So he designed a pen holder that snapped the pen in, and his cousin could hold on to the triangle-shaped thing, shaped it to the right size of his hand and everything. That's what it's for, right? We're going to print a lot of Batman logos and other things as well. But not every kid is going to be able to print everything that they want. It just takes too long. So we encourage that. Make something important and you get to use the printer. If you don't make anything that's really important, then you get on the list, but someone can jump above your list if they come up with some really neat, cool design. The biggest safety concern with this is how to get the print off of the plate. This is a nice little spatula that we use. Now it's not a push it through the plastic, you get it under there and you wobble. If I can wobble underneath my plastic, then there's no force, and it's the force that slices that causes the safety issues. So when you do use the printer, when they're taking their part off, just need to encourage that safe use of the spatula, and everything will be fine. We also have different challenges that you can do if you want to say, hey, let's build wind turbines, and you got to 3D print your blades. And you can go through those different types of things. But we really encourage that creativity and trying to find something that helps other people. So, any quick questions about the 3D printer?
When you
Yes.
have your kids do it, do you have them stay at a certain size or anything?
So what we encourage is respect for the machine. The amount of plastic makes no difference. I mean, it's pennies to print stuff. The problem is you know, I can print this device that's this big that takes 30 hours to print. Well, that takes up 2.5 days worth of time that we couldn't print. So we try to encourage smaller items. But then again, the more important the item turns out to be, the more likely we are to say, you know what, we're gonna take the 30 hours to print that device because it could have an impact on somebody. And so you kind of have to balance that. But for the most part, we try to have the kids design things for, you know, 15, 30-minute prints, and that seems to be a decent balance. Yes?
Once the printing is started, how much intervention is required by the instructor or the student?
Well, first of all, the instructor doesn't have any intervention. We leave them out of it. Once it starts printing, it just goes. There are a few times that it may, you know, pop loose and ruin your print. The plastic may get clogged, or the reel may get bound up or something. So there's a few things that can cause problems. But for the most part, once it starts printing, then it just goes until it's done.
And it stops automatically?
Then it stops automatically, it drops down, it'll cool off automatically, and so it's pretty much, we kind of encourage you to not start a print and leave it overnight, because that, you know, the first 5-10 minutes of a print will really indicate whether or not it's going to go. So if you can watch it for a half an hour before you go home at night, then leaving it at night's fine. It shuts all down. It runs through its certain print cycle. So even if it messes up, it will still shut down and do everything just fine.
Won't malfunction and burn the school down overnight?
Nope. It might melt a big old blob of plastic, but that's about it. So.